Floss Co friends. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. I am Audrey Marine, and if you are just finding me for the first time, this is a channel all about cross stitch. I will share a couple things that I've been working on over the past month since my last video, and I have some fully finished objects which are absolutely gorgeous, and I have the fabulous Wigglesworth to thank for that, so don't worry, I will show those pretty soon. I'm very excited about them. And for the returning subscribers, thank you so much. I am almost at the 6,000 subscriber mark, which just seems wild. So I just wanted to say thank you right off the bat before I forgot, got into other fun things and neglected to add that in there. So if you recall my last video, I was talking about an upcoming trip to Prague. Went to Prague, didn't want to come home from Prague, was looking at apartments in Prague. So I told Brian, I was like, we could live here, it'd be okay. Everything was pretty inexpensive, including some apartments I found online, and it was very refreshing. And it was a fun but walkable historic city. It looked like Paris, but it's smaller, and it didn't smell. Food was great. We never had a bad meal. It was absolutely wonderful. All of this is to say, let me get back to the actual point here. Before I left for Prague, I was talking about my upcoming trip and what I might have as a travel project. I was pretty confident I was going to go with Rose Ada Featherstone, and I did. I started Rose a few days before I left for Prague, and I have had so much fun working on her that I've worked on almost nothing else in the last month. So she's not done, but I have a huge chunk of this sampler done. Now I know that some people like to know, and it's hard to find this information, hard to really find any information about this particular chart because it is a Hands Across the Sea Samplers chart, but it is exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks, and they don't have a ton of information on their website about it. I don't think they have stitch count. They may, but I don't even think they have called for fabric, and they do not have the called for threads listed on the website. So let me just give you a little bit of information about Rose. Let's see. You can stitch her with Soie 103, which is what I used from Overa Soie. There's Soie d'Alger, which is the skein silk from Overa Soie, Appleton Wools, and DMC. There are 12 colors, and the called for linen that they used is, let me make sure. See, it doesn't even say. Where did I get this information? Sorry, my apologies. I'm very sure that the called for linen is marbled khaki from XJU Design, but now I don't know why I think that is because there's no information about that. Okay, well, I'm not going to spend a ton of time. I wonder. The stitch count, I'll at least give you the stitch count. It is 221 wide by 206 high. I'm stitching it on a 46 count linen, so my design will be roughly 9.5 by 9. I am stitching it on 46 count marbled khaki by XJU Designs. Perhaps that information is on Hobby House's website, and I am mistaken, but I am not reading it in here. Bizarre. I'm pretty sure that that is the called for, and that's why it shows it. Regardless, I think it looks great, and I will just go ahead and show you without any more jabbering on. There she is. So it will go a bit longer. That's the bottom corner, actually. But this is what I have done. The border is super easy. It's just the 3 colors. You can see in there. This is a really funky palette actually, but it works so well with this fabric. I really like it. So the angels here, a couple of my friends, they say that they would stitch Rose, but they'd omit the angels. And it's like, well, I'm gonna stitch it how Rose had it. She put them in there for a reason. We'll put in the Pepto angels. But then actually I was showing this to Ryan and he's like, they look sunburned. They flew too close to the sun. I was like, yeah, that is actually what they look like. Or like you've scrubbed yourself too hard in the shower and you come out like red. That's what they look like. So as I say, I started this a few days before I left for Prague. I got a lot of the top border done. I think I got the entire green length up top. I got this motif done here, and then I got the flowers here, but not the pot. And then when I got, I actually didn't stitch on the plains on the way over because I left in the evening and went through Minneapolis and then Minneapolis to, where did I go? Oh, Amsterdam. So from Minneapolis to Amsterdam, it was kind of like overnight for me, it felt like, so I didn't stitch. I tried to get some sleep, was sort of successful. And then Amsterdam to Prague. So didn't get a ton. I got a little bit of stitching done while I was in the Minneapolis airport. But then I got to Prague actually about a day and a half before Ryan did. He was coming from Indonesia from the Formula E event there. And then, so when I was in Prague by myself, I went out for meals, but otherwise, and then I like did a little bit of walking, but otherwise I could just kind of stayed in the hotel room and rested. It was a really nice hotel. So if you want some recommendations for, like if you're going soon and you want some restaurant recommendations or a hotel recommendation, I would be very happy to provide. The funny thing is that the first night that I got there, I was really hungry. I got there, got to the hotel, was all settled in and everything. It was only like 6 or 7 o'clock though. So I thought, well, I'm hungry. I should just go and find a Tesco or something. And that's what I was going to do. But I go out of the hotel and I turn right and immediately I see a sign in Korean and I was like, oh, what is this? How did I miss this when I got out of the Uber? So anyway, I walked 10 feet or whatever it was, maybe 20. And I saw that, yes, it was a restaurant. Yes, they had kimchi jjigae. So I was like, well, I'm eating here. Screw the Tesco. So I went in there and I ordered too much food, but I love Korean food. And we have a Korean restaurant here, but it's, I don't know, it's okay. And so anyway, it's just weird. It turns out there's a lot of Korean restaurants in Prague, which was also weird. But it was just funny, my first night in that city and I was alone and I was speaking Korean and English with this waiter in a restaurant in Prague. It was so weird and wonderful and delightful. And boy, that bulgogi was so good. So then when I went back to the hotel room, I was, feeling good. I was full of Korean food. And so I did a little more stitching. While I was in Prague, once Ryan showed up, I didn't do any stitching. We were so busy walking around and eating. And then, by the time we got back to the hotel in the evenings, we were just pooped. So no stitching for the rest of the time there. But before he got there, I should say, I finished the roof, I started the facade of the house. And then on my way home from Prague, I got an enormous amount of the brown in the house done. And so then when I got home, I was able to start on some of these side motifs and fill in the windows and things. So this has gone, I think, at a good pace. I love the fabric. I think the colors work well on it, especially the color of the house. I mean, it's got silly little things. We've got a really weird looking lion with the unicorn and a crown. We've got our sunburnt cherub babies. And then it's gonna have these 3 big trees at the bottom and a couple weird birds. Weird bird alert. And her name, do the border and I'm done. Not so bad. And I should tell you, as far as I know, this chart is still available on the Hobby House website. You can give them a call if there's any question. And it does come with this very small bonus chart. This is stitched in wool. I did attempt this. I started this little project. I got the Appleton wools and I started it, but I hated it. So it was UFO'd, it was abandoned. And that's okay because I didn't invest a ton of money into those Appleton wools. They're relatively inexpensive. And I tried something new and realized it wasn't for me. So I am going to continue to work on Rose Ada, maybe not monogamously, but probably just split my time between her and 1 or 2 other projects. And I'll talk about my plans going forward for the next couple months later in this video. I want to show you the other new start I had, and that is pretty much all I've been working on. Let me show you this. Okay, when I got home from Prague, I had a big box of goodness from Jordan waiting for me, and that was wonderful to go through. One chart out of there was a Halloween Brenda Gervais. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that I started it, I finished it, and well, now I've already sent it off for finishing. So I don't have the finished product to show you, nor do I have the chart to show you, because Jordan liked my finish so much that she asked for the chart back so she could stitch it again on this wild green fabric from XJU, and with some variegated floss from Roxy Floss, which I actually happen to have right here. So there was a little ghost on the chart, and I stitched it in this really fun colored speckled floss. And I said it was because the ghost ate too much candy and it was floating around in her ectoplasm. And isn't that funny? I think I'm funny. So I don't have the chart, I don't have that finish to show you, but that's okay, because come September, hopefully September, but October at the latest, I think, I will have 5 Halloween FFOs coming from keepsakes that I'll be able to share with you. And rather than just sending them things and letting them pick out fabric and trim, I actually ordered fabric and trim from 123 Stitch. I ordered some fabric from the Home Sweet Haunt collection by, oh, what is her name? I think the last name is Sue, HSU. I think Home Sweet Haunt. Anyway, none of this really matters. You'll see it when I get it back. But the other thing that I started, oh, that was what I was going to say. Also, like a week after I got home from Prague, I got another box from another friend. Thank you, Laura. And she sent me some amazing goodies. And one of the things that was in there was this Hands Across the Sea samplers chart. This is a duo. These are 2 little samplers that were stitched by a brother and a sister. So I was looking, I pulled the colors. Now on the front, it looks like more of like a mauve and sort of like an electric limey green, but I pulled the colors and this is what they are. I really like these together. So I was thinking about fabrics. Initially, I was thinking about stitching them on 56 count fabric because there's no over 1, there are no specialty stitches. It would be fine to do on 56. But then I remembered I had this really amazing green fabric from Tabby Cat. This is 46 count Castor Bridge. So I was able to cut 2 little pieces about this size and start Emma. So these will make nice little pillows. And the 2 samplers are very similar, but I have no problem stitching both of them. I think it'd be cute to have the pair, the brother and the sister. We've got Emma and Martin Noah. Martin was a name I was considering for Morris, but he's a Morris, he's a Mo. So that was my other start, and I honestly, I was really enjoying working on Rose Ada, but I kind of had that, I want a new start feeling. And so I just pulled out some charts and found the smallest things. And I thought, well, let me start something really tiny because then I should be able to finish it quickly as well. And this is just a few days work. I think this is 3 days work. I started it on a Sunday. I worked on it again that same Tuesday. And then actually last Saturday, Morris and I went to a stitchy day at my LNS, Always in Stitches in Noblesville. And I brought this because it was nice and small. I didn't want to bring Rose Ada because I've been using a bigger hoop on her and she's got 12 colors. And I just thought this has a tiny book, and so does Rose Ada, but this has a tiny book, be a tiny piece of fabric. I could use my smallest hoop and it only has 2 colors. So that is what I've got going. There was another day in there earlier in the month where I was thinking, oh, well, you know, last July I stitched last July I only stitched Christmas smalls. I did Christmas in July I completely neglected all my samplers on purpose. I wanted to have some Christmas smalls ready to display, and I was successful in that. But this, a few weeks ago, I was thinking, well, I don't really feel like doing Christmas in July again this year, but maybe I'll actually stitch something patriotic. So I pulled this out. This is something I bought earlier this year from Keepsakes. This is Grand Old Flag 2 by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. And I had gotten a nice collection of Roxy Floss from a D-stash. Yes, because somebody's daughters were listing things. And I was like, oh, I see that. The chart was, I like the chart, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get to the chart, but I like the chart. But it was more like, oh, look at that big pack of Roxy Floss. And so when I was thinking about working on this, I was looking at all my Roxy Floss and I was like, well, I don't quite have the right blues for this that I want. I do like the look of this, how it's kind of a teal color almost. And then I remembered, oh, I got that new set of Roxy. And so I pulled 40 count Arrowroot by Roxy Floss. It's kind of a bone color. Yeah, I really like this. You can see I didn't even finish that star. So I started with this pillow because everybody talks about how it's the most stitch heavy, but I thought it would just be so easy to do stripes back and forth. That's what I was really looking forward to. Anyway, I like one afternoon watching a couple episodes of X-Files, I stitched this. And these are the colors I picked, and I love how they look together. So these are all Roxy Floss. I've got Falou Red, Deja Blue, and Powdered Up. And I'm only gonna need a tiny bit of this Powdered Up. The rest will mostly be this Deja Blue and Falou Red. And then on the Arrowroot, oh, doesn't that look nice? Yes, I think so. So that was a great purchase off the D-Stash. This is Facebook group Stash Unloading Cross Stitch Only, I think is the name of the Facebook group. If you put in Cross Stitch D-Stash on Facebook, it should pop up and you'll see that one with thousands of members. And then if you have Facebook friends who are like stitchy friends, then it might say that, you know, so-and-so is a member of this group, and that'll indicate to you that you're finding the right group. Anyway. Okay, so back to this real quick. So yes, I started this, but I'm not really considering it a whip because I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna tuck all this stuff away in this little bag here, and then I'm gonna stick it in a drawer with my other seasonal smalls. And then probably early next year or early spring even maybe, I'll pull this out and go, oh yeah, I did start it. And then I'll have a little bit of a head start. So I'm not really considering this a whip. It was something that I started on a whim one day. I love how it looks. So I'm gonna keep all these flosses with this chart and the fabric. And this fabric is a nice piece, nice size. I will be able to get all 3 of those smalls out of this piece. I really like this. This is a piece of linen that I bought just because I wanted to see what the color was, and I love it. I love it. I still cannot decide what I'm doing about Jane Wood, which is Evertote Maximum Cross Stitch Roxy Floss's Sampler September collaboration. The chart is by Maximum Cross Stitch, and then, you know, you purchase the chart, the hard copy chart, and I'll insert a photo here of the sampler. You purchase the hard copy chart and floss and or linen from Evernote.ca. Okay, and since we're on that, I'm kind of doing things out of order here. It doesn't really matter. I got, at the end of last month, I got my most recent installment of the Roxy Floss Co. One-of-a-Kind Floss Club. And I'll show you what I got. And oh my goodness, I love it so much. I love it so much. This is what I got. Oh my goodness. So I'll go through them individually, but I just kind of want to show them together because look how great they look. So I got these, and then as I say, I came home from Prague to that box from Jordan and wanted to there was a guy outside with Oh God, they're two tiny dogs. I thought he had cats outside. Okay. So the Brenda Gervais Halloween Small, and actually I'll insert a picture here of my finish so you guys know what I'm talking about. And you can see the ghost on the pumpkin, and isn't that cute? And it was a full Roxy Floss Co conversion on 40 count oil green from XJU Design. And I did show that fabric on a previous episode, maybe the last episode. I think I showed you that fabric. But let's see what we've got. We've got Omelette, Spring Onion, Glow, and this is that speckle that I used for the ghost, Losing Crocus, and now he's yelling at his dogs, Aster La Vista, this is Hannah for you, Good Hydrangeas, and Morning Glory. Yeah, I like those colors. Oh, so good, so good. So I feel I've been putting my Roxy Floss one-of-a-kind club to good use. I've been determined to use it, and I found some really fun projects to put it in. Okay, let me take a look at my notes here. I really don't feel like I have a ton of stuff to show you guys. That was all for my new starts and whips, I guess. Okay, well, I'll just show you my FFOs, and then we'll go into the little bit of haul that I have, and that might be it. Well, we'll talk about plans. Okay, so I've actually got a new start and finish here in the FFOs. So I will start with, I'll start with this. So I sent 5 tiny samplers off to Faye a few weeks ago, and she worked her magic and made them into these incredible little pillows. I've got them all here so I can show you, and then when I'm done with my video, I'm going to rearrange my cabinet and put these on display. And won't that be lovely? Okay, the first one here is Susanna de Carle. This is by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. This is not available for purchase. This was a gift to the attendees of this year's Sampler Symposium at the Attic. I do not know if and when it will be released, but there were a ton of attendees at Sampler Symposium. So if you know someone who went, you can bug them. I didn't go. This was just sent to me by someone. So I was able to stitch that. And I stitched this on, I have my notes right here. I stitched this on 56 count Spindrift by Cedar River Linen with, I just want to make sure. I'm sure I stitched it with 664. Yes, I did. Because I know I used the called for. And there's a tiny little bit of over 1 down below. That is her name. Everything else is over 2. And then Faye put this cording on it and this beautiful red on the back. I think she's used this fabric on one of my pieces before, and I like it. It's dramatic. Yeah, and look at her cording. And look at my tiny stitches. Yeah, I love it. And then she put this cute little spool pin in it. Yeah. Okay, and the next one, this is Mrs. Salmond or Lost, 1897. This was in the Hands Across the Sea Words of Wisdom box that came out fall of 23. Fall of 23. Yeah. And rumor has it there's going to be another Hands Across the Sea red box the first quarter of 2026. Don't hold me to that. Don't quote me on it. I got this off of a comment that Nicola made in a Facebook group. So we're all very excited. Everybody who saw that comment is excited, but I don't have any inside information. Okay, so I finished this a while ago. I know I finished the finished stitched piece here, but oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. This was stitched on 56 count Regency by Seraphim with Swastirfine in 2072. And it's hard to tell, but this fabric is slightly blue. It's a bluish fabric. And this dusty aqua looks amazing on it. Faye picked the perfect scrunchy ribbon to put on it. And then, oh my God, I just realized. Faye, you are so friggin' clever because I got this. Oh, she's so clever. Okay, you guys, look at the charm. It's a clock. It's like a little pocket watch, it looks like. And I saw this, I pulled everything out of the package and I thought, oh, that's so cute. But it relates to what I stitched. Oh my God, I'm gonna start crying. Okay, lost somewhere between sunrise and sunset, 2 golden hours, each set with 60 diamond minutes. No reward is offered for they are lost forever. Faye, you are so clever. So she put that little thing on there. And then there's also this pocket. Oh my gosh. Okay. Amazing. 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 Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't believe these are mine. So excited. All right. Do I like my own work? Yes, I do. Do I love Faye's work? Yes, I do. It's amazing. Okay. This next one is also, they're all hands across the sea. Who are we kidding? So if you haven't been following me or watched all my videos or whatever, I did declare in one of my previous videos that I am trying to stitch more hat samplers this year than anybody else. We'll see how it goes. I have already finished 15 hands across the sea samplers this year. They were all, I mean, a lot of them were really tiny, like this one. This is Kathleen Dempsey. This is a Hobby House exclusive. So if you want this one, head to the Hobby House Needleworks website or give the store a call. Kathleen Dempsey, as I say. This was stitched on 56 count. Wow. I didn't take notes on this one. I put notes for Dinah Disney. Dinah Disney isn't in this batch. What are you doing, Audrey? Okay, I know this was stitched on 56. A mason linen, light, obviously, and it was stitched with the called 403s. So this was one I wasn't, I stitched it because I just wanted to get another small win out, right? But look at this trim. I wasn't like overly excited about this one. I was like, yeah, it's cute. It's got 2 birds and some alphabets. Blah, blah, blah. But look at the trim she used. This is wild and I love it and I want to put it on everything. Okay, let's focus. Oh my gosh. Aqua and red. Aqua and red, and look, aqua and red. Yeah. And then she put this little pin in there with the aqua top. Oh my gosh. And there's the back with the bird. I know, I'm so excited. All right, fits in here. Okay. And knocking stuff over, it doesn't matter, it's just a spool. Okay, the fourth one that I got back, this is Elizabeth Poingdestre. This is a Hands Across the Sea Samplers chart, also an exclusive to Hobby House Needleworks. And then this, Poingdestre. If you put that in the search bar on the Hobby House Needleworks website, it'll pop up. The E was left off on the chart. Both the model and the chart did not have that E there. All of this is cross stitch over 2, except these are eyelets. This row is eyelets. And where is it? Something is like a half stitch. Oh, this thing right here, these 2 top stitches there, they're squished. So instead of over 2 both ways, it's over 2 one way, but over 1 the other, if that makes sense. And then this is over 1, and this is over 1. But you could either adjust this to make it bigger, and then obviously this, you could just make it a full stitch. So cute though. This is stitched on 56 count chatelaine light linen from Mason Linens with Swastrafine 2210. And then Faye did this really cool, she used ribbon and then she couched it down along the sides and then used a really beautiful fabric for the back. Look, 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 look. Very cool. And this little, oh my gosh. Okay, and then the last one I have to show you, I've actually never shown you the stitching for this because I started and finished this stitching after my last video and sent it off to Faye with these 4 other things that you have seen. This is Maria Ward. This is out of the latest Hands Across the Sea Samplers box, the All Things Bright and Beautiful box. So Maria Ward English Bichner. This one, when I got the box, I liked this one. I just liked the simplicity of it, and I really liked the border. And it's 196 by 132 stitches. So as far as like small samplers go, it actually was kind of big. And so when I was looking at that stitch count, I thought, well, if I stitch it on 46 count, which is the call for linen for this is it Dirty Teacup? It is Dirty Teacup. So all I had was 46 count Dirty Teacup. And so I thought, well, if I stitch it on the 46 Dirty Teacup, and the reason why I wanted to use the called for fabric is because I really like it. I really like Dirty Teacup, and I think the red would look amazing on it. And yeah, I was right. So I wanted to use that particular fabric color, but I thought 46, you know, it would end up being 8.5 by 5 3/4. And I thought that's kind of a big pillow. And even as it is on 56 count Dirty Teacup, it's 7 by 4 3/4. It's still a hefty size pillow. You can see how big it is. But I did manage to secure some 56 count Dirty Teacup. I didn't know it existed, but I was sent some in a bundle of other beautiful fabrics, and I was delighted that I had it for this. And I used 103s, even on the 56 count. I like to use 103s. You notice that for this one, I used Swasserfine. And I think also for this one as well, I used Swasserfine, but that's because I was gonna have some over one here. And then this one I used Swasserfine just because I had a ton of the Swasserfine in this color. I, for some reason, had 2 spools. And Swasserfine has 100 meters, whereas Swa 103s, there's just 50 meters on a spool. So, do you need all this information? I don't even know. But Faye did a great job. I love this crinkled finish. It just looks so frilly and feminine and rich, and I love it. And then look at the fabric that she picked. I'm thinking this is a French General. It feels very French General to me. What do you guys think? Yeah. I think I should have had red nails to go with all this red. And when I got my nails done and I asked Morris, I was like, what color should I pick? He's like, really, really, really dark purple. And I was like, no. But I ended up with going with a purple anyway. And I was like, purple's really not my color. Why did I do this? Because of my child. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So those are my fully finished objects, my FFOs. I'm absolutely in love. I want to hug them all. I love them. I love them. So thank you, Faye. And I cannot believe that I didn't get this right away. That is so clever. So clever. Okay. Can I tell you a secret? It's not really a secret. One of those was supposed to be a gift, and I don't think I can let it go. I don't think I could let it go. So I just have to stitch more, right? Okay. All right, so now, as I say, I got some stitchy kindness. I got a lot of wonderful stitchy kindness in the last few weeks. I'm not going to show it all. As they get pulled out and as I start things, I'll be able to say, I got this from my friend, and that's lovely, and I'm thankful, and I appreciate the friendships, I appreciate the generosity and the swapping stash and all that goodness. So, but I will show you a few things I actually purchased. So as I said, I ordered some Halloween fabric. Gosh, I wish I could remember that designer's name, but it is Home Sweet Haunt, I'm pretty sure. Ordered some Halloween fabric to send off with my Halloween smalls to be finished by the ladies at Keepsakes. And since I was feeling in the Halloween mood, I added this to my order. This is Bones by Stacy Nash. It's part of the Animal Cracker series. And I know one of my friends is out there rolling her eyes. That's okay. I thought he was so cute. I'm really gonna get tired of stitching black. But also, it's so easy, right? I think if you stitch this on like an orange fabric or a green or something kind of wild, you could stitch the skeleton first, and that way you'd really be able to see it very easily. Whereas if you stitch the skeleton on a gray, it would be hard to see. But if you stitch the skeleton first on a brightly colored fabric, or just something that can contrast with it a little bit, then you can go back and it would be so easy to fill in the black. And I think that would be really fun. It would be so cute. So I already stitched Nettle. I haven't sent her off for finishing. It's not going to happen until next year because I kind of want to send a batch of animal crackers to whichever finisher, whether I send them to Faye because she does a great job with animal crackers. But when I was at Keepsakes, I saw all these, I would say, complicated finishes around the store, and they did a great job with those. Their animal crackers looked great. Their pears looked great, like perfectly chubby and everything, but not too fat or bulbous or whatever. Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep working on these animal crackers, you know, so long as I'm still enjoying them. I have finished 3, I think, and then I managed to get Henny Penny off of a D-stash just a couple days ago, and I got it for $12. I was delighted. $12 plus $4 and change shipping. I had seen it before on D-stash and missed it, but also I had seen it going for like in the 30s, and I'm like, I can just wait, it's fine. But when I saw it for $12, somebody had already claimed it, so I put next in line, NIL, and then the woman reached out and she said, well, actually, I've got 2 copies, so do you want it? I was like, yes, I want it. Okay. And then, as I say, Morris and I went to a stitchy day at Always in Stitches, and you know, you go and you stitch, then you walk around, you sit and you stitch, and you walk around and stuff. And so one of the times he was walking around, we were walking around, but separately, he came and found me, and he was like, Mom, can I get something? I was like, yeah, what do you want? And he said, well, it's a Plum Street. I said, yes. And he said, it's this sort of thing. And I said, yes. And he said it, he started to explain that it was like a group of things. And I was like, oh, is it Quack Stack? Because he loves ducks. And he's like, no, it's not Quack Stack, but it's like that, but it's spiders. And I was like, oh, Jump Clump? And he was like, yeah, Jump Clump, but I can't reach it. Can you get it? And I was like, yeah. So this is what he picked out. I hate it. It freaks me out. It looks a little too real. Yeah, and so he got this and all the called for colors, and he's so excited. But then we were, you know, and he gets that and he picks out all the colors and he throws them in the basket, and you just kind of leave baskets out. They've got a counter in the back there, and so that way you're not taking unpaid for merchandise into the back stitching room, and you can just keep like going out and chucking stuff in your basket. So we put all that stuff in there, we go back and stitch, and then we go out and we're walking around together again, and we're looking at the Stacy Nash section. And he was like, Mom, it's a slug. And I was like, yeah, it's a slug and it's awesome. And he's like, can we get it? And I was like, yeah, we can get it. Because I want to stitch this one too anyway. This is Peroy. He thought it was Percy. And I said, yeah, Percy. And then I was looking at it and I was like, no, it's Peroy. I didn't remember it being Percy. So I thought I would stitch this little Peroy guy on, I don't know, maybe a green fabric or something fun. And then I can change his bow tie to whatever color I want. Morris wants to stitch him just as is. I told him, I said, these are stitch heavy. Like, they look little and cute, but there are a lot of stitches in it. And he's like, yeah, I understand, you know. But he did start Daisy Flag, the little turtle holding the daisies by Bent Creek, which is something that I purchased for him when I went to Keepsakes last month. And I told him, I said, you know, I bought this for you. I thought it was cute and you would like it. If you don't want to stitch it, that's fine. You don't have to. But he wanted to stitch it. So he pulled, you know, he went through my DMC, then he went through some fancy floss and stuff, and he made his own. I think a few of the colors that he's using are called for, and then some other things he's just using what he likes. I think he's still in that, like, I want to use the called for time of his stitching career. And I'm past that. I just, you know, I like using the called for, but I know that I don't have to. I don't need to do it. I can pull something similar and it'll give me the same effect, or I can make it completely different and unique in a way that suits me using colors that I really love. But for this, he wanted to get the called for. I said, that's fine. We'll just, you know, it was kind of pricey because of all these different colors, but he was so excited. And you know what? If he never gets to it, it's fine. It's no big deal. But Peroy, we just got chamomile, and Morris still stitches on 32 count linen. So I told him, I was like, well, let's get 2 skeins of that chamomile, just in case. But they're out going to collect Rupert from his summer camp. That's just this week. And it's not a stay over summer camp sort of thing. It's just a morning thing. So they went out. I sent them. I was like, take all this stuff to Goodwill. Go pick up Rupert. Go have lunch. Go go-karting. They're going go-karting. So exciting day for Rupert. Morris is not so excited about having to go to like a couple other stops, but I think he's excited to go go-karting because now he finally is tall enough to be in, yeah, still a kiddie cart, but a cart that he can drive independently, because before, I mean, the last time we went, he still had to be in one of those like 2-seater things, which are like wide as get out and, you know, take the whole darn thing. You don't really need to know any of this, but okay. The last thing I wanted to show, last bit of haul that I wanted to show, because I was thinking, I was talking to the kids about this last night. I was like, I'm making my notes and I don't really have a lot to show. But I managed to get Lucy Barber 1857 off of a D-stash. This is one I had considered purchasing directly from Traditional Stitches. It is a Traditional Stitches exclusive. That's a shop in Canada. And I think they still have copies. I was looking at purchasing a copy, but it was one of those things that was like, well, how much is the charge? Plus I got to pay to ship from Canada. I'm not opposed to that, but what else can I add to my order to make it all worth it? And then I was considering Esther Blackwood, but then Laura gave me a copy of that chart. And I don't know that I really need Ann Johnson. And then, is it Ann Morrison? That one sold out. You can't get it. Can't get it to save her life. So I thought, well, if this is the only thing I need from Traditional Stitches, it can wait. And then I saw it pop up on the D-Stash group, and I'm hardly on Facebook, but I got this for $19, and that included shipping, and I was ecstatic. So it came like slightly bent, but it even still had this, you know, little insert in here, and the chart is perfect. So this one I'm excited about. It's got these beautiful padded satin stitches down here on the flowers, and then just chock full of funky motifs. I actually think the color scheme here, look at this now that I'm thinking about it. I think the colors, I think these two would look really nice hanging together. What do we think? Yeah, but I think this is going to be a next year start. I don't think I'm starting this anytime soon. I have several large samplers on the go that I'm getting finishes, and then I'm starting tiny things to get tiny quick finishes, but I'm still like dragging these giant things along. But I wanted to talk about my plans because I haven't talked about Anne Tong Ufendel in a while, and that is another chart by Hands Across the Sea samplers. A lot of people have seen it. I started it on Valentine's Day with Jem, Stitch and Jem, and Jem just put out a video a couple days ago, so go check her out if you haven't already. I'll link her below. And she and I started Anne Tong on Valentine's Day with the idea that we were going to do a 12th of that chart every month with the, the hope is to finish it next Valentine's Day. Well, today is the 15th. So like rolling over into a month, the next month now, I am now technically 2 months behind. And that is okay, because actually I am putting Anne Tong on pause for me. For those who have joined in with our stitch along, keep going, keep at it, keep plugging away. She's a beautiful chart. Jem just recently put some time into her and she's making progress. But yes, I am 2 months behind, and that is okay. And I think I will end up being probably, 3 or 4 months behind by the time I pick her up again, because as we are now into the middle of July, Sampler September is not that far away, and I'm thinking about fun and exciting starts I'm going to have in that month. And then also I am going to Swindon in October for the Great British Sampler Weekend. And I think it would be really lovely to have a nice big finish there. Not huge, not Isabella Ufendel huge, but something along, you know, along the lines of this, something about this size. I want to finish this month, hopefully. But something like that. So I'm thinking, do I want to pull out one of my other big hat whips and just work almost monogamously on that to get it to almost the finish line by the time I go to Swindon so I can finish it there? Do I want to start something that's on the smaller side with the idea of, you know, bringing it over the finish line there? I don't know. I have to think about that. But as of right now, Ann Tong for me is on pause. And then going into Sampler September, I'm going to start Jane Wood from Maximum Cross Stitch. And then I am going to start at least one hats with Gem. She wants to start, she wants to get a start on Elizabeth Stevenson. That's one I just have like the single line that makes up the border. I have like maybe half of it because I think I have the bottom and then one side. So she wants to start Elizabeth Stevenson. She wants to start Barbary Butcher. And then I think she also wants to start Mary Wigglesworth because she is, you know, all in on hats right now. And I don't blame her. Had Mary Wigglesworth. This was another gift from a friend. Thank you. I bought the floss for this. This is one though, I'm looking at it and it says that it was stitched on, it says that it was stitched on a creme brulee by Tabby Cat. And the only creme brulee I have is a piece of 40 count and it's wild. So I think because the modeling is so wild and so dark, the 103s wouldn't cover enough of, it wouldn't cover the fabric well enough. And the other piece of creme brulee I have is 56 count. And I don't know, I like stitching on 56 count, but I kind of want Mary Wigglesworth to be a little bit bigger. So I would like to stitch her on 46 count. So rather than use creme brulee, I was thinking about Dirty Teacup. Well, I only have one piece of 46 count Dirty Teacup and I have earmarked it for Rosa Gromit. What am I going to do? I have no idea. You know what I should have done? Like months ago, I should have ordered a yard of 46 count Dirty Teacup from Rachel at Needle and Flax. But I did not do that. Maybe I should just do that. I really want some more Dirty Teacup. I love that color. So yeah, so I could stitch this on 56 count creme brulee or 56 count Dirty Teacup, but I really want to stitch it on 46 count. I think 46 would be a nice size. 46 should be like 11 by 11 because her stitch count is 249 by 249. Yeah, I think that would be nice. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. But then Jem just texted me like an hour ago. Well, probably like an hour and a half ago at this point. She texted me a while ago. She's like, I bought this. I was like, oh, I have that too. So I just pulled it out just now before recording. And this one is a bit smaller actually. This is only 177 by 186. The model was stitched on Marbled Pointer by XG Design. Now, Marbled Pointer, my piece of Marbled Pointer is a bit dark. Well, maybe it's just how that color is. It's dark compared to other linens. Darker than, I'd say it's as dramatic as this, but a little bit darker. Like the base color is a little bit darker and the modeling is about the same color. But the piece of linen is kind of garbage. I don't know what was with that particular piece of material. Like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like the other Zweigarts. So when I touch it, I go, ugh. So I don't think I even want to use it. And I don't think it's the right color for this. It doesn't look like this. This just looks like cream, right? It doesn't look like this. So I could stitch this on 56 count Dirty Teacup because I still have some of that left. This does have some over one though. The verse here is over one. I don't mind stitching over one on 56. I do prefer to do it on 46 or 45. So things to think about. I don't know. And then Jordan and I are planning on stitching, hold on, I want to get the name right. Nope, didn't write it down. I just said planning on starting red sampler from Hats with Jordan. Mary Cornwall. I'm pretty sure that's the name. It is a red sampler. It's got some 4-sided stitch. It has some back stitch. Does it have eyelets? It might even have eyelets. So she has that chart. I ordered it from Hobby House a few days ago, and it's on its way, along with the silks for Mary Wigglesworth. So that's all on their way. And Jordan messaged me earlier and was asking, did you make a fabric, did you make a decision on fabric? And I have not. Because of the 4-sided stitch and the fact that I'd rather use 103 than Soie Fine, I'm thinking I'm going to stitch it on 46. But also a lot of my 46s are just monotone, the fabrics. There's no modeling. And I think I like doing red samplers on marbled linen and modeled linen, because you just got the one color thread on this really, fun, interesting fabric. Decisions to make. So who knows what I'll be showing you next time when I come back in August. Now, for August, we are going to Wisconsin in the middle of the month for an event that we always go to. We've been going for the past, 4 or 5 years or whatever, and taking the kids. And anyway, it's a fun time. It's really fun. So I will do my best to record before we go, because I don't want it to be like a month and a week until I record again. I'd like it to be closer to 3 weeks. And you know what? All this might just, best laid plans and all that. So I might come back to you with like a finish and a lot of progress on one project, or I might come back to you showing you like 9 things that I put 2 days into each. I have no idea. Let me know what you're working on, what you've been working on while I've been jabbering away about all this. And if you have any questions, or if you want to join into a Sal, or you have suggestions, questions, I don't even know, whatever, just put it below. If you want to send me a private message, you can find me on Instagram at StitchStitchBead. Let me make sure I've touched on everything I need to touch on. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, this was pretty easy. I don't have, you know what? I didn't have to like put stuff on the floor today, because usually I have things piled on top of each other and then I pick something up and I have to put it on the floor to get the next thing. That's it. This is all I have. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again, hopefully in, less than 4 weeks. That's what I'm hoping for. And until then, very happy stitching to you all. Bye.